Hi, my name is Belinda and I'm the training lady, and today I want to show you a feature available in the Microsoft programs that is going to reduce the amount of typing that you have to do each day. Now, this is specifically for text that you enter on a regular basis, so repetitive text that you're entering. So perfect for things like names, business names, addresses, even short sentences that maybe you repeat quite often. You can now shortcut that and make it much more efficient to be able to enter that. Now, this feature works in the majority of the Microsoft programs. So we're including in that the Outlook Classic, we're including Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote. Also works in Visio, unfortunately doesn't work in Microsoft Teams as yet. But let's have a look at how we can use this. I'm going to do a little demo as well so you can see what I'm talking about. So things that I might enter repetitively into content is things like my name, my business name, my address details, all that sort of thing. So if you have a look on my screen, I've just got Excel opened at the moment. And what I'm going to do is type in a shorthand version of something, and I'm going to have it so that the computer actually automatically converts it to the longhand version. So I've just got this set up with my initials. And when I type my initials in and I hit enter on the keyboard, it automatically puts my full name in. Now I've got that set up for my business name as well. And then I can also do it with things like my PO box details or my mailing address. But it makes it much quicker for me to be able to enter that data into any files that I'm working with. Now, the function, as I said, is called autocorrect. The idea behind it is it's meant to correct commonly misspelt words. So, for instance, one of the words that is in the database for this is the word accommodate. Now, if I just type it in with one M and I press spacebar or I press enter on the keyboard, Excel will automatically recognize that's a spelling mistake and it's a common one, and it will correct it for me. So we're actually utilizing the same function, we're just taking it and using it in a different context. Now I am going to set up these entries within Microsoft Excel. You can also do this through Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, etc. I do find Outlook is the trickier one because it is a little bit more buried down into the settings, whereas the other programs have it a little bit more easier to get to it. So we're going to go into the autocorrect settings. Now I am going to go up to my file tab here and go and choose the options setting from the left hand panel, and it will open up your Excel options dialog box. Now from the list of items down the left hand side here, I'm going to choose proofing because this is part of the spelling and grammar checking settings that you're going to find in the programs. So if I go to proofing, you'll see there's all my spell checker settings, and here I have the button to be able to go into autocorrect. So I'm going to go and click on autocorrect options. Now you should see a little list appear. It'll show you all of the entries that are already in here. So these are corrections that will already happen. You'll also see, if you access this through Microsoft Word, you'll even see all the little smiley faces. So when you put a semicolon in and a bracket, you'll see that that converts over to a smiley face. So all of those auto corrections are actually shown in the Microsoft Word interface. But I can scroll through, I can see all the text-based entries, and I can scroll through. There's my accommodate example. And these are all pre-built into the Microsoft programs. This is not something you have to go and set up yourself. We're just going to add in these extra entries for these shorthand versions of content that we use. All right, so how this works is we're going to place our cursor inside the little replace box here. And this is where you need to come up with a shorthand version of whatever the phrase is or whatever the information is about. I recommend going with all lowercase in here for the shorthand. And also you want to be aware and make sure that whatever shorthand version of the content you're using doesn't actually spell a word. So for instance, if the abbreviation I was going to use was the letters THE, that actually spells a word, and that's not going to work. So what I would normally do here is, rather than adding another letter onto the end of that, I would actually add a number to make it a little bit more unique and make it easier for me moving forward. So in the replace box, pop your cursor in there. You can then put in whatever initials you want to use. So I'm going to pop in TTL, which stands for the training lady. And in the with box, I want it to come up with the training lady. And I can use spaces here. I can use uppercase, lowercase, however I want it to show up. Now, once I've got that in, I do need to press the add button, and it should show up in the actual main list. Now you could continue, you could add any additional entries that you would like to use. You can even put in short sentences in here. So really good for things like having your delivery address and your postal address set up in here. short sentences that maybe you like to use in your documents or in your Excel files, or even in your emails, because it works in there as well. But set all those additional entries up, and then we're going to click OK on that dialog box and then click OK again. Now we want to test this out. I'm just going to click on any cell within the spreadsheet. Now you can use these entries as part of a sentence, or you can have it just as a standalone bit of information in a cell. So I'm just going to go TTL and then hit my enter key, and it now has the training lady come up in there. So really easy now. I can just click anywhere that I want to put that text and pop in the shorthand bit of text, and it comes out with the longer version of it. Now, what about being able to use this in other programs? So I've got Microsoft Word I've just opened here. Make sure you open it fresh after you've created the entry, because otherwise the program wouldn't have picked up those new entries in that centralized little database. And we want to make sure it gets the new entry. But I've just opened a blank document here, and again, I can go in with my name, or I can go in with the new TTL entry that I just created, or I can use my business name, and it's working in my Microsoft Word as well. Now, as I mentioned, this will also work in your Outlook. So if you had your Outlook already open while you were creating the entry, you may need to close it down completely and reopen it, just so that Outlook picks up that new entry. But once I've reopened it, I can create a new email message here, and I'm going to click into the body text area, and I can use any of those entries that I have set up, including the new one that I just created. So as I said, works across all the Microsoft programs. So I hope this helps in saving you some time with consistently being able to enter information in a quicker way using those shorthand versions. If you have any questions, don't forget to pop them below the video. And if you've enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button. I'm adding more content as I go, so please, by all means, subscribe to my channel and you'll see all of my new stuff as it comes out. Otherwise, have a great day, everyone.